Alright folks, so if you haven't been living like under a rock, we just got the trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds and it's amazing. Like, I didn't even know this was happening. I just opened YouTube one morning and boom, there was the Monster Hunter Wilds trailer, and it's an absolute gem. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for this game. Like, the new combat systems, the new monsters, and oh my goodness, is that Palico actually talking?
This is gonna be great!
You bet.
Like, seriously though, is it talking? Is it not talking? I don't know, I've watched this like 50 times. I still can't really tell if it's the cat or not. Anyhow, this is kind of my like speculations / hopes for Monster Hunter Wilds. Enjoy. So, let's start with the elephant in the room, that being the monsters. Well, more specifically, the small monsters for now. So in this trailer and the previous showcase, there's been a massive focus on the small monsters. I mean, it might just be my inner super nerd showing, but I mean, the way everything moves, the way it interacts with each other, like the small monsters hunting, the small monster turf wars. I'll get more into that later, but this just feels like it's gonna be a super big part of this game. And I can definitely see myself just like kind of sitting in a bush somewhere and just like admiring the vast moving ecosystem of a landscape for hours. Oh, I can't wait for this game. I think I'll have to stop myself here so I don't end up rambling about for hours again about fictional ecosystems. So, on to the, for me at least, most confusing part of this trailer, the large monsters. Okay, I don't know if I'm the only one who got like super confused when I first saw these designs, but it's something about this like more gritty design of these creatures that just doesn't feel a whole lot like Monster Hunter. I mean, that's not a bad thing either. I just think we're getting like a huge design changes in this game. I mean, like, look at the flippin' bear, guys. These things are terrifying. They look more like something of a Dark Souls game than like Monster Hunter. I do have a theory as to what this might be though. There has been a major power creep in the last few games, or at least so I'm told. I've only really played World and Rise, where the hunter has become more and more powerful, but the monsters haven't really like followed up in the same pace. I do think these designs make a huge part in making the monsters seem more threatening. I mean, just look at some of the scenes they've set up. This is like true horror potential. Oh my goodness, I did not expect that. I mean, like, combine that with the fact that we can clearly see the hunter, like, running away from these things, like, trying to separate the herd before tackling them one at a time. Oh my goodness, this will be great. Another change I can clearly see on the horizon is an actual danger of multi-monster hunts. With large monsters now moving in herds, I don't think we're gonna be all so excited when we see a monster entering the arena for some extra damage. I mean, I can like easily see you like hunting an alpha with some friends, more on that later, and like two of you could like tackle the actual quest monster while the others like kind of like handle the like bit smaller, still large monsters that are new in this game, and like just so that you can just don't get interrupted in your flow of the hunt. Okay, so I touched on the small monster turf wars a bit earlier, and I am really loving this idea. And not only that, but just like how present the small monsters seem to be during the hunts this time around. It's just looking like a huge step in the right direction of making a fully French breathing world. Oh, I so can't wait for this. Another thing I also touched a bit on earlier is the addition of potential alpha monsters. You know, in this trailer we can clearly see like an alpha bear lion thingy-boop. It's like larger, more powerful, with more vibrant coloring. In the case of pack monsters, these will probably be the more of a focus of the like regular quest things. But I can also see this being like the end game of this game, where like you tackle on like alpha versions of different monsters, and it could just be like so cool. They could have like new armor. Oh. One thing though that I was really expecting was a whole lot of like returning monsters from World, since they only really need to like copy paste them, as they are already just like so well made. But after seeing this, I do not think that will be the case anymore. I mean, of course there will be a whole lot of returning monsters, but like with the whole new design aesthetic, with like the grittier design philosophies and such, and like overall just way more detailed monsters in general. I think they like even the returning world monsters would have to be so much just rework. But the main problem I see with this idea is actually in the new combat system, with like the fluidity of the combat, guys. This just seems so seamless on, oh my goodness, the way you like interact with the monsters mid-combat seems to be a whole new system, and it looks gorgeous. Okay, more on that later, I promise. But like I said, with this like all of these new systems, there would have to be like a complete rewrite of all the returning monsters, and yeah, it would just take so much work. I mean, it's still like easier than making a whole new monster, so I mean, we will still get like a lot of returning monsters from World, I think, but not as many as I originally thought. Okay, not even close, I think. Alright, so on to another big one, the combat. And this new combat system looks insane, like hot swappable weapons, mounted attacks, the flippin' interaction level you have with the monsters. This definitely looks like the foundation of a masterpiece. But let's start with one we were all expecting, the hot swappable weapon system. Yeah, we were all expecting this since day one, but hey, it's official now. We're gonna be able to like swap weapons mid-fight, and it's gonna be amazing, especially for like set building, since you don't swap the armor. It's just like you have to now design a set that works well with like 2 weapons. And this also works so good with another thing that I really want to happen. I actually think this will happen, and that being sort of like the switch skills equivalent of this game. Imagine this: you really like one weapon, but you also would like have different playstyles mid-hunt. Then you bring like 2 of the same weapon, but with different switch skills attached to each weapon, so then you can have switch weapons mid-hunt, different playstyles. You can have like decorations on the weapons that boost like that playstyle. It could be just so incredible, and I do really think this will happen. Like one thing too that I think alludes to like weapon styles being present in this game is the sort of like stance-like posture the greatsword has in this. I mean, like overall, the greatsword just plays so differently from the other games, and I don't think they would just like ditch the good old big boy strike that the other games got going for them. So I do really think this is like the switch skills in action. This is more like a lighter greatsword, focused more on like movement and like soft counters. Actually, writing the script got me thinking, what if, okay, hear me out, what if they actually go the extra mile here? I was a bit confused actually about the greatsword at first, because like the design is just so different from the other games, but it just makes so much sense now. Oh my goodness. I mean, like it is so much like smaller, more lightweight than previously. What if different weapons have different switch skills baked into those weapons? So like you could still have like the good old greatsword, but then you can also have like the lighter greatswords, and then like that could have like the more mobile attacks and such, and then you could still have like the just like super big, super girthy with big boy slams and all of that goodness. Oh, I really like this. I mean, it's not even that far-fetched too, because we already have like similar system with like the insect glaive comes to mind, the hunting horns, like hunting melodies, doodad things. I don't think this is too far-fetched, guys. I really think this is gonna happen. If this happens, I'm gonna be so happy, because it also like makes a lot of sense like balancing wise, because like then imagine like the problem that most games, if I'm gonna be honest, have right now. It's that like balancing wise, they do really just have like one weapon that is just like, okay, this is the definitive best weapon in this class. But if we have this, I don't think that would be so much of an issue anymore, because then like all the weapons would be like unique in their own ways. Of course, like one could have better base stats, but it might not have that switch skill that you want, and then you have to like go with another one that has like slightly worse stats, but it has the switch skill you want, and it's just, I'm doing it again, aren't I? Yeah, let's move on. I really like that idea. Moving on to the monsters in the combat encounters. I know a lot of you people are more excited about this than the hot swappable weapons. But the thing is, this new combat style they're going for, it could either be the best thing or like a cool looking move that just feels way too scripted. I don't see a lot of middle ground here. But as cool as that is, I do also see a quite large possibility that this just feels kind of clunky. Like, especially in like multiplayer hunts where you have like 4 players that have to do like the same amount of interactability in like the combat. I think that's really hard to do actually. Also, if you look on the website, you also get some more info on this. It says something about a so-called new focus mode, which allows you to target specific monster parts for attacking and, quote-unquote, unleashing new special attacks that deal big damage. I'm not sure what to think about this new system if I'm gonna be honest. Don't get me wrong, it looks super good, but it could also be like the same problem that Iceborne had with the Clutch Claw. Yeah, it all really depends on like how it feels to play. It shouldn't be like mandatory, it should be like just like a cool thing. So let's tackle another one of the big questions, the potential of a 15th weapon type. And I honestly think this is really plausible. It's been quite a while since they added a new one, and if you look on the website, it says, quote, the 14 iconic weapon types from the Monster Hunter series will each make a return. Now, I don't know if it's just wishful thinking, but the way this is phrased just makes me think there is just definitely something else to this. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see for ourselves. Now we get to another one of my favorite things in this trailer. Yeah, they're all my favorite things, you might tell by now. Yeah, this is the lore. I mean, just look at this. It almost feels like a different game. Like, Monster Hunter has never been known for its story, but like, the embrace and focus on the story like this early on in what we see, I just can't wait. I mean, if they're putting this much focus on it, surely it has to be good, and it looks good so far, and we've seen like nothing of it. And like the lore, the guild, we actually get to see the guild instead of just like the guild that sent me on a mission. Yeah, I think this is gonna be great. Lastly, we get to one more thing that's kind of more like a personal preference thing that I have. But I'm not a massive fan of how this game looks. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, the like level of detail in the environment's flawless, the monster designs phenomenal, but there is one problem in the visuals: the lighting. Now, I might be a bit spoiled recently, since I've recently picked up Horizon Zero Dawn, and let me tell ya, the vivid, lifelike lighting in that game features, it easily makes it one of the most visually stunning games I've played to date. Now this, I mean, I do love the luscious vibrancy of the grass. And there are a lot of pretty scenes. I'm like talking about the like some of the desert scenes just look gorgeous, like the blue lighting also. I do love the blue lighting thing. But then there are the other parts, okay? And well, to be frank, it's just a low contrast, desaturated mess. I mean, this is one problem though that mods can like super easily fix though. Like, for instance, in World, this was a really big problem for me. I did not like how like desaturated and like gray everything just looked. So I just like installed a mod that just boosts the vibrancy a bit, and it works flawlessly out of the box. I love it, and that will definitely come like super early to this game too, I feel like. That's not to say that this game has bad visuals though. Like, there are some beautiful scenes, especially like the cutscenes I feel like are way better like color balanced than the others. Overall, you might be able to tell by this point in the video that I'm really excited about this game. I will definitely be covering it a lot. Like, maybe not a whole lot since my upload schedule is like once every 2 months, but when I do, I will definitely just be playing this game all the way to the max. Maybe not on this channel, but I will still be making videos about it, don't you worry. I've been Sweet and Goon, and these are just some of my theories on Monster Hunter Wilds. Roll the outro.
Short a theme song for my YouTube channel, where I play Monster Hunter and other pages, and the song with the word "I suit you're a monster." Subscribe, subscribe, sub.